Last week we looked at, sorry, you just lying on the ground. Last week we were looking at positions. So we looked at controlling the hips, controlling the shoulders, and controlling both. And then we also looked at mount. All right. So these positions, any time you're on the side, bizarrely enough, it's called side control. Versions of side control. Anytime you are sat on top of him, versions of the mount. Okay. There's technical mount, there's S mount, there's also other kinds of mount. But don't worry about that for now. One area we didn't look at is the back control. The back control is considered probably the best position to be in terms of a strategic advantage. So if he sits up, I'm going to show you back control. If you get here, great for you, you can attack, and not a lot he can do to you, maybe back elbow, maybe, but we'll talk about that. Cool. Now, when you are in back control, I'll just give you, I think we'll come around this side actually, it's much easier. Now, the great thing about back control is you have the back, you can see what you're doing, he can't see what you're doing, but it's very easy for him to escape unless you have what we call hooks. All right? So hooks, when we talk about hooks, refer to my feet and you hook over him. Don't underhook again because you're going to be, it's nasty for your feet. All right? Just keep them here and tuck them in as if you're going to kick his balls. We're not kicking balls, all right? You have to imagine that you are keeping it that way here. The next thing I want you to do is one arm goes underneath, one arm goes over. We call this either the harness grip or the seatbelt grip. Alright? And if you can remember this, even better, the hand that goes underneath goes on top of your own hand. Okay? There's a reason for that one, I'll show you later. And this, then just hold it here and just hope that everything will go well. You grip tightly and your head tucks in. This should mitigate the back elbow. And this should mitigate any space that you give here, he will escape. For example, if I just hold that and he just pushes me down, sits underneath and he gets out. Alright? If I hold it fairly tight, everything's like does the same thing again. And we teach the kids that. I feel bad because I'm teaching you a kids class basically. You're paying for adult rates. Anyway. And you should see them. The little kids we teach how to hug.
They're brilliant.
And we get it out. They get to attach themselves to the adults. And adults are jumping around, standing, spinning around, and you can't get them off. How annoying is that? But it shows you the correct technique. So feet in, tuck the heels in tightly, squeeze the knees if you want to. Squeeze tight, head tucked in, very important. And what your partner's going to do is drop to one side, and then we sit up again, and he's going to drop to the other side. Alright, that's all you're going to do, and then swap it around, and then keep doing it until what I call time. So feet, grips, head. That's what you need to do. Alright guys? Now, this is a great position in terms of whether punches are allowed or not allowed, whatever, just as a generic strategic term in terms of combat. This is probably the best position you can be in. Now, a class of sparring and fighting, and any combat sport, grip fighting is a major aspect of what you do. Nobody just lets you go, hey, and hug you. And yeah, see, he's denying me things that I need. When we play gi, what I actually want is the arm that goes over is to reach here, and then you can start learning how to choke someone. It's like the most beginner of beginner techniques, right? And it's very easy to defend that. He just blocks his hand, and he blocks this hand by tightening his elbow. You see what he's doing. And I have nothing. I mean, I still have my grip, so he can't shake me off, but I don't have anything. So we have to do grip fighting. So the first thing is that I want to neutralize. I'm not really worried about this hand, I'm worried about this hand. Once he immobilizes this hand, it's kind of annoying. So as he brings this hand up, overhook here. And then as he's trying to block this one, it doesn't matter for me. I can still reach here and I can still grip. And I've actually trapped his hand as well. So once again, we do the same thing. He rolls to one side. And this time he's trying to move his hips out. And then we roll back to the middle. Over grip. And grip over. You see what I'm doing here? I'm trapping his arm. Then we roll to the other side. And he is trying to put the kick out. So without his arms to do all that, it's much harder to try and escape. If he does have his arms, he can try and escape. Does anyone want to see that again? That little grip fighting drill. Let me show you again. Got the hair. You've got gripping over. So if he's defending here, that's fine. And then you've got that actually trapped his hand. And then you're back to the same position here. All tight here. If he tries to remove his hand, he rolls to one side, tries to move his hips up, and then the other side. Here we go. Sorry, I didn't explain it properly. Once you've overgrip here, then we're exchanging with here. But because his hand was in the way, I'm gripping over everything. But ultimately, what I want is this grip here. See what I did there? So you start off, number one, over grip here. This has a job. This now grips, takes the place, and you grip over with your own hand. Alright? Don't worry about what he's doing here. He can defend if he wants to. And then he's going to roll from one side to the other. I repeat. Number one, grip here. Number two, you change the grip here. Now the underhand grips over your own wrist here. Keep it strong. Let's remove his hand. Nice and strong. Okay, so do that. Not only my foot position is important, my arm position is important, my head position is important, but there's grip fighting involved. You cannot expect your opponent to just lie there and take the technique that you're going to do. Alright, this is the technique we're going to do. Right, so we're in this figure 4 grip here, and we're waiting. What we're waiting for is, if your partner has a gi, this is now a free hand, the one that's underneath his armpit. This is a free hand. You're going to open out this gi here, and you're going to reach in here. Alright, the next stage is, you're now going to get the other lapel. This one pulls down, this one pulls across. So this direction of this hand, which is over his shoulder, goes like a knife across his throat here. And this one is like ringing a bell here. And we're just going like that. If your partner doesn't have a gi, you start up in this position again. You're going up here, you're just putting your hand on his scapula. And what you're going to do is bring this elbow back, like that. Now it's slightly less effective because I have the gi, that's more of a no-gi technique. Don't worry about it now, we're just attacking the neck. So to begin with here, foot position good, arm, one arm over, one arm under. First of all we hug the chest, next is grip fighting. Yeah, good, I got what I want. Good. If he has the gi, and I probably will swap you guys around so there's always a gi person there. Open out, up. The other hand is now free. That grabs the opposite lapel. Remember, this one pulls down like a bell. This one goes across like you're drawing a knife. Good. If that's not available, this hand, all the way across. Place it firmly on his shoulder blade. And you want to keep this here. This is pinned here. This doesn't move. And you're drawing the elbow back. Like a cheap and dirty rear naked without involving the traditional UFC style. Which we will cover another time. Introduction to the world of submission. Submissions, a lot of people see as the end goal. But for me, Jiu-Jitsu is a broader discipline, and there's so many things to figure out and get good at before you really worry about the submission. So my message today, although I wanted to show you various submissions, don't be obsessed by them. You kind of have to work hard to get to that point where you can submit someone. But don't worry about it for now. We still have to learn them all at the same time. We'll put Jason for this one. Now, Jason's on back on his back. Now, we all remember this position that we were in, which I just refer to generally as side control. Alright? I think if you were all sat there, you can see perfectly what's happening to his joint here. Now with submissions, we really either attack the arteries of the neck but we attack the joints of the body. All right. The bigger the joints, the better the submission. The bigger the pain, the easier the win. But obviously, it's a tougher joint. There's a lot of muscle control to the big joint. Therefore, in order to make sure we tap out from attacking the big joints, by big joints we refer to the shoulders, the hips, the knees, elbows, a little bit on the neck, but mainly the shoulders. You have to get into a big position. So you often hear people talk about position before submission, and that's a really good rule to go by. Unless you're in a great position, your attempt at submission is going to suck and it's going to escape. Right? So side position is a great position. We've already decided that, because just from here it's very hard for him to escape. Now, the submission we're going to show you is this. Follow along closely. You must establish good side control. Chest on chest. I'm tucked in very tightly and I'm squeezing very tightly. Okay? So he makes the mistake of using this to push my face away. Great. I'm pushing down and I'm overhooking here. Alright? Don't do this, which is I was tempted to do. You can sort of do it, but it's kind of cheating. You want to be here. So again, we'll start again. Here, he pushes me. I'm using two hands to push down here. So you see what I'm doing here. My elbow is kind of back elbowing into his face. And I'm forming a square. And his arm should be at a right angle. That's stage one. Stage two, I have a free hand here. Remember, my chest is still on. I'm still in great side position. It's underneath. If it's tight, just under the armpit there's a bit more space and the finger crook. That grip again. That grip in your own wrist thing again. Alright, that figure four grip that we just did earlier. Also is a pattern here. Now what we're going to do is, don't yank, we're going to roll our wrists. All it takes. We're going to do the equivalent of this. Don't go, right? It won't work to be honest. So, same thing again, we're in great side position. If you really leave us up here, withdraw the arm now, two hands, like you're a dog, yeah? Push it down. This elbow firmly planted on the ground so he cannot use his head to not move in. Everything is on the ground. You're forming a square here. His hand is free, goes underneath the armpit, grabs your own wrist. So same figure four grip again. And rolling. Your objective is to make his wrist go from here to here. All it takes, depending on how flexible they are. And what you're doing is you're wrenching the shoulder and the whole arm backwards. It's a very common technique which you'll see in various guises. Right, that's what you're doing. You're raising the elbow but rolling the wrist back like that. Anyone want to see that again? No, you all got it? Should be perfect. You're okay with this. Good. Okay? You only have to do this to yourself with your arm up. And try to spread it backwards. And there's a very small tolerance. So really, if you translate that to on the ground, it's a very small tolerance. Now, the thing is, your wrist can't go into the ground, but your elbow can raise. But the danger is you want to raise the elbow but not lift the wrist up, because if you raise everything up, then, nothing's really happening. So you want to get that wrenching motion. Imagine like you're wringing cloth, your bone here is a cloth. Now that action here has a evil twin sister, which is this action here. Now this one, where you're wrenching that way, we call the kimura, alright? But that has a wider range of action. Can you imagine that? I can rotate. So if you do this to yourself, do that, you have a wider range of action. So whilst it's a benefit to have that, it's also terrible for you because it's much more common for people to get into a variety of positions to attack that way. Whereas this way, it's quite hard to get into there's a limited number of positions where you'll be attacked like this. Sometimes I even feint, I put my arm up there, just so that they'll get into a position which I feel I can escape from. I'll talk about that in another time. But trust me, when your arm is down here, and they've got this figure four grip on you, and your arm is going, you're in trouble. Right? Whereas here, it's kind of like, if you know how to escape, it's quite easy. Here, you're in trouble. And I'll demonstrate. So from a wing. Head here, feet there. We'll do it from side control again. Now, from my nice side control here, I've got head control here, cross face, and I've got this nice grip here. Now, do you remember one of the drills we did last week was where I switched to here and we just controlled the shoulders, just being annoying. Look at this hand here, alright? Not really doing anything. If I grip here, push down and attach my hand to my wrist. Guess what? It's that same grip again, that figure 4 grip. Alright? Now obviously, he's going to try fighting this, but 2 hands on 1, the concept I want to introduce to you, is a very common concept that we'll come across again and again. Now from here, we're going to square up. Square up here. See that sort of common connection where I'm creating a square here? Now, all I want you to do is switch, and as if you want to face him. There are nastier versions where I step over and spin and all sorts of things, but for now we're just keeping it really simple. Alright, so we'll start again. This one by now you should be familiar with. Basic side control. Arm under the head, clamping your own hands, hugging in tight. But for whatever reason you're thinking, well, you know, his hand is there and I think I can attack it, he's not really doing anything with it. You're going to face his arm. Grab at the wrist, push down, grab your own wrist, and we're here on the ground. Now we're going to switch our hips to face back again. But notice I keep his wrist on the ground. I don't lift it up. The moment you start lifting up, it's like he has as much strength as I have. Whereas here I have the best use of my 2-on-1. And it's a very efficient movement. But there's a lot more room to... Sorry, did I... Same warnings, do it slowly, progressively. But because there's a bigger degree of motion, there's a bigger movement from me. So it's not just stay here and move the arm. I've gone from here to here to here to here. If you spin around, you can see my leg and foot work. I've gone from here to face the hand, grab, squaring up, and then we're here again, using that foot to push off. And that doesn't have his head lift the ground, I don't want his wrist to lift off the ground. Very technical. It's probably the most technical thing we've done in here. Let me see how well you follow along. Okay, guys? Give it a go. Don't feel bad that you're not really getting it. Actually, it's an illustration today of how the joint moves and doesn't move. So if you're attacking where the hand is up, it's a very small degree of rotation. But the position you need to get there is a very specialist position. I personally wouldn't normally attack these kind of attacks. I'm much happy to attack these. So although there's a greater range of motion, you have a much more wider variable of positions with which to attack this from. You can even attack this from something later on we'll learn guard. This kind of attack here, it's the same thing. The same thing. It's going backwards. Yeah. Any time where one arm is exposed and you have a 2-on-1 grip, what we call the Chimera grip or figure 4, you have a chance to work on the shoulder. And it's a very common attack. And there's hundreds of variations. Let's give you one quick one, because I wanted to cover the mount as well, because it's familiar to you, and we'll cover the mount. Yeah, just spin around so your head is towards them. Let's just get straight into mount. We're here. I could teach you chokes from here. Personally, I'm not a big fan of chokes from here, because when you commit yourself to attacking, and some people are really good at this, right? But because I'm very small and light, I'm prone to being hit bumped. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do. As I say, some people are really good at this. And the best people, Roger Gracie, for example, right, one instructor, they'll do it from here. They've already chucked their head on the ground, so you can't chuck them off. And then they start attacking. Personally, as I say, I personally don't play that a lot, but it's there, and we do teach that. Good things to do, you can still do the joint lock attacks from here. I can't do the other one, where his arm goes here, because I have to put myself in a position. But a very common thing is that he starts to play 2-on-1, push down, as if you're going to elbow their face, but please don't. There, so it has to be right by his ear. Keep that pin there. Keep yourself low. Free hand goes underneath. Guess what? Roll. They call it rolling the paintbrush. So imagine his hand was a paintbrush and he's just doing a big fat stroke down the line here. Roll. Good. You really have to visualize that you're rotating What's this bone called? Humerus bone? Anyway, you're rotating the shoulder there. Don't just lift. Don't do this. Too much movement. Very minimal. And you're focusing precisely on that joint here, like this. That's the final technique of there. You want to see it again? See it again? I'm doing it this side now. Good. So he's defending himself, perhaps not greatly. 2-on-1 is how we traditionally teach it. So 2-on-1 is a good concept to remember. You're overpowering by numbers. You must get your elbow to the ground. So Wayne looks away with the elbow in his face. Good, there we go. So you have that frame. Hand goes underneath, grabs your own wrist. You like the 5-finger concept, so thumb in as well. Don't grab your wrist like that. Grab your thumb. And you're rotating. Good. Definitely tense your right shoulder. Alright. So, same technique as we did before. We're now doing it from mount position. Everyone understands? Go. Let's go.